Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we did that.
Oh, yeah. Good evening, everyone. It's now 6 o'clock. I'm your Mayor, John Penny. We'll go ahead and call our City Commission meeting to order. Valerie, if you please call the roll.
Commissioner Snow? Here. Commissioner Curry?
Here.
Commissioner Delanoy?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson? Here. Mayor Penny?
Here. At this time, if you silence any electronic devices that make noise, put them on vibrator, please turn them off. If everyone please rise for the invocation led by Commissioner Roy Johnson and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I will ask God to protect, watch over all of the people, the kids, the animals around this whole entire world. Protect them, God. Keep them from pain and suffering. Help us guide our country leaders to do the right things and protect them, God. Be with them and watch over them. Protect our county, our state, our city, and bless us and be with us, God. You have done so much for me lately that is just unbelievable how much you've done. I owe you so much. But every time I suffer in pain and ask you to help me, God, I always remember you let your own son go through more pain and suffering than we could ever comprehend. And everything I ever asked for and everything I ever thank you for, God, is in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, our risen Savior. Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
He is so distracting. Do it the way everybody else does it.
At this time, I have a proclamation to read into order. This is a proclamation by the Mayor of the City of Holly Hill, Florida, declaring April 2025 as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. It's a topic that we don't like to talk about, but it's a topic that needs to be talked about. It's very important in our community, and it's one of these hidden things that we all need to open our eyes and report what we see. So whereas Sexual Assault Awareness Month calls attention to the fact that sexual assault violence is widespread and impacts every person in this community. And whereas rape, sexual assault, and sexual harassment impact our community, and statistics show that 1 in 5 women and 1 in 33 men will be raped at some time in their lives. That 1 in 4 boys and 1 in 3 girls will experience a sexual assault before the age of 18. Youth ages 11 to 17 are 2.5 times as likely to be victims of rape or sexual assault, and on a campus, 1 in 5 women and 1 in 16 men are sexually assaulted. And whereas during 2024, Family Life Center, as a certified rape crisis center in Flagler and Volusia County, provided 88 SA-related community events and presentations, 474 hours of advocate crisis counseling, 236 crisis helpline calls answered, and 70 accompaniments to forensic exams in Volusia County alone. Whereas the Start by Believing Public Awareness Campaign, a program of End Violence Against Women International, is designed to improve the responses of friends, family members, and community professionals so they can help sexual assault victims access supportive resources and engage the criminal justice system. And whereas the City of Holly Hill joins advocates and communities across the country because we are strongest when we raise our voices together to change the culture to prevent sexual violence. Prevention requires addressing the roots, problems, and social norms that allow sexual violence to exist. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and each day of the year is an opportunity to create change for the future. Whereas the City of Holly Hill, in partnership with the Holly Hill Police Department Victim Advocacy Program and victim advocates from Family Life Center, Rape Crisis Center SAVE program, is hereby dedicated to strengthening victims and survivors in the aftermath of crime, building resilience in our community and our victims' responders, and working for a better future for all victims and survivors. Now, therefore, I, John Penny, Mayor of the City of Holly Hill, Florida, and on behalf of the City Commission, do hereby proclaim April as Sexual Assault Awareness Month in the City of Holly Hill, and hereby do encourage all citizens to support the Start by Believing public awareness. That seems weird to clap for that, but we should clap for that. I know there's some representatives here. Would you like to come forward? This is one of those subjects, we normally proclaim good things, and this is a good thing that we bring awareness to it. It's a bad subject, but it needs to be addressed.
Thank you so much, Mayor and Commission. My name is Erin Shannon. I am the Sexual Assault Services Coordinator for Family Life Center. Sexual assault is a pervasive and devastating crime. It violates trust, shatters lives, and leaves deep, lasting scars. It's not about sex, it's about power and control, and it happens far more often than we realize. And we often hear those statistics. 1 in 3 women, 1 in 6 men in the U.S. experience completed or attempted rape in their lifetime. But these numbers they're more than just figures. They represent real people, real pain, and real stories. Sexual assault awareness is not just about understanding the problem, it's about changing the culture that allows it to persist. It's about believing survivors, challenging harmful myths, and creating safer spaces. It is about education, consent, and bystander intervention. We must teach our children about healthy relationships and respect. We must challenge the toxic masculinity that fuels violence. We must hold perpetrators accountable, and we must support survivors on their journey to healing. Awareness is the first step. Let's move beyond awareness to action. Let's build a world where everyone feels safe, respected, and empowered. Let's break the silence, and let's end sexual violence. Thank you. And I just want to thank Daisy, our Holly Hill Police Department Victim Advocate, for requesting this on our behalf, and United Victim Advocate Tanya for being here too. So, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Let's give them a round of applause for all the work they do. Now we'll move to item 3, which is public comments. This is the time for the audience to address the commission on anything not on a regular agenda. Yes, sir. State your name and the city you live in, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Yes, sir. Hello, my name is Steve Updike. I am a 74-year-old American senior citizen from Virginia, and I live at 300 Flormont Street here in Holly Hill. I'm not here to talk about myself tonight, but I would like to say that my neighbors have backed off from abusing me, so you're doing something right to help me. Thank you. Now, what I'm here for, ironically, is I'm here to talk about Regina. Regina was my neighbor who moved in to Marion Benet's house at 1606 Cordova Avenue with her boyfriend, Tim Daniels, over a year ago. Regina is a senior citizen. She's old enough to be Timothy Daniels' mother. Anyway, Regina told me that Timothy Daniels repeatedly beats her up, black, blue, bloody, even broke her foot, and Tim would steal her money to buy drugs and dope. Regina was afraid to go to the police because she was afraid Tim would kill her. The last time I saw Regina, she was dying. After that, I had to go to court to get a restraining order because Timothy Daniels threatened to kill me with a shovel. I told the judge what Tim did, and she asked him if it was true Regina was dying, and he said yes. Regina and Tim live in Marion Benet's house, and she must have known Tim was beating her up. Holly Hill has a bigger problem than police abuse. That is just the tip of the iceberg. Holly Hill needs to do something to stop all of the abuse that happens to women, senior citizens like myself, children, and other people before Sheriff Chitwood has to come back and do another investigation to clean up all the abuse here in Holly Hill. And I know you're trying. God bless you. I know you're trying, but like you said, it's a cover-up. People cover this up. And so I'm here, Mr. Brave Steve Updike. You know, I'm not afraid anymore. I'm too old to be afraid. And I'm trying to do something here and try to keep people from trapping and, you know, killing me just for being the messenger, because I'm so glad that you put this thing on the agenda, because this has a lot to do with it. This lady was beat up and nobody has done a darn thing about it. Okay, as far as I know, she's dead now. So dead bodies don't talk, right? But this is the neighbor that wants to kill me. He potentially killed his neighbor. I can't prove it because she's too afraid to stand up and tell anybody that she was beat nearly to death. It staggers. Now, I've been here for 4 years. 2 years I lived at peace, Mr. Penny. And after my neighbors moved in 2 years ago, it's been like hell. It's been a holly hell for me. 2 years it was holly heaven, now it's holly hell. And that's why I'm coming here. Whether I like it or not, I hear about all this abuse, and it never happened before. I've never had this kind of abuse in my entire life.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else in the audience that'd like to address the commission for anything not on a regular agenda? Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is Wayne Johnson. I live at 700 Grove Avenue. They came today and cleaned up the yard as far as getting debris and like that gone. And I don't understand how I'm being forced to be moved out. It's in the thing, constructive eviction is illegal. You're all depriving me of having water there, and then using that as an excuse to force me out is wrong. I moved in there with the girl that used to live with Victor 3 years ago. I've lived there for 3 years. And for me to be fearful that I'm going to be arrested because I live somewhere that I was allowed to, that I moved in, she moved out, she died, and I'm there by myself. I don't understand why y'all are being allowed to do this to me. I was informed by the police sergeant today that I better get my stuff and get out, and then I had till 6 o'clock. And this is news to me. I've got a lot of stuff there. I've got motorcycles in the garage. I've lived there for 3 years, and for y'all to just tell me that I've got 15 minutes to get my stuff, it's not acceptable. I don't think it's right. That's all I've got to say.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else from the audience like to address the commission on anything not on a regular agenda?
Oh, and there's 3 officers in my house right now. I think
Sir, you need to contain yourself. Thank you. Seeing no further audience participation, I'll go ahead and close public comments. You'd like to comment on that, Mr. Forte? The last comment.
Sure. With regard to Mr. Wayne at 700 Grove, I'm not aware, there's no attempt to take you out of the house. We're not there. Let me just tell you what I have to say. We're not there to evict you. We're only there to clean the exterior of the property. That's what I told you several weeks ago. That's all we're there for. If anybody told you you need to vacate the property, that is not our responsibility. That's not what we're involved with.
Please don't respond, sir.
If the sergeant has told you that, I'll get with the chief and we'll make that correction, but you're not being evicted by the city of Holly Hill. We are just there to clean the property up.
Please don't respond, sir.
Yeah.
Please don't respond.
So
You can speak to Mr. Forte after the meeting.
Yeah, you can speak with me tomorrow or after the meeting or tomorrow, but I'll make sure that's clear. We are not evicting anyone from the property, just cleaning the outside.
Thank you.
With regard to Mr. Updike, this commission is not the law enforcement agency. The complaints that I've heard from him, I sent the police to his house 2 meetings ago when he came up and made statements, and I'll do it again tomorrow. We'll send the police there, but he's making accusations against somebody about crimes. That goes to law enforcement. So I'll have the chief send somebody to his house again tomorrow to take a report to see if there's any crime that's been committed, and we'll follow it up from there. But he's not been ignored, not by me and not by the police. I've sent them there before. I don't know why he comes here to make what looks like complete police complaints, but they're not.
And then he doesn't stick around for the answer.
He doesn't stick around, so
Mr.
it's,
Mayor, just real quick, I went out to 700 Grove for a short time this morning. City manager called me, it's in my district, let me know that the vendor was going out there if I wanted to swing by, so I did. And I just want to tell you the attitude that you displayed today, that he displayed today, against our employees, our police officers, our code enforcement officer, along with the two women that, I don't know if they live there with him or not, whatever the case is, was really reprehensible. Cussing our police, cussing our code enforcement officer, it's ridiculous.
Sir, if you continue to comment, that's your second warning.
And I just
If I
want
have
to
to ask you
say,
again, you'll have to leave on the third warning.
I also would like to say, nobody is a renter at that property. They are squatters. There is nobody that owns that property that they're paying rent to. Hopefully, the bank will get that squared away soon, because they're the ones that have to have them removed. But I just want to say, Mr. Walker, that the employees today with code were very respectful. Chief Williams, the officers that were there today were very respectful and showed restraint in how they were being talked to today. So I just want the both of you to know that. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Mayor,
Any other comments? Yes, ma'am.
I have a comment. There is a very simple way for you to help somebody who you think is in trouble. You can do it anonymously. The Department of Social Services, there's a hotline number, and there's an online ability to fill out a form to give somebody's name and address and what you think is going on. And they are responsible for taking that information and doing a wellness check maybe, or more if it's needing. But nobody should sit and say, I didn't do anything. That's just wrong.
Thank you. Is the number still 1-800-96-ABUSE?
I do not know. I've always gone online with
I'm
it.
pretty sure that's what it is.
Okay.
Thank you. So now we'll move to item 4, which is the approval of the minutes from the March 25th, 2025 meeting, regular city commission meeting, and the CRA meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries unanimously. We'll now move to item 5, which is the consent agenda, items 1 through 3. The action proposed is stated for each item on the consent agenda unless the city commissioner removes an item from the consent agenda. No discussion on individual items will occur, and a single motion will approve all items. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak on any item on our consent agenda this evening? Seeing none?
Mayor,
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to pull item number 1, please.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else like to remove any other items? So at this time, we'll entertain a motion to approve items 2 and 3 on the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It carries unanimously. So we're pulling item 1, which is Resolution 2025-R-28. Mr. Forte, it's my understanding that other cities have, this is a mandate, a directive from the state of Florida, and I think it's under your authority that you can assign this without city commission approval?
Yeah, what I just read is that these MOUs are agreements that establish frameworks for cooperation and information sharing between ICE and other entities such as state or local law enforcement agencies or other government agencies. And unlike formal legislative or court orders, MOUs are typically internal agreements within the executive branch and therefore do not require congressional or commission approval. So if the commission would like, we can pull this from the agenda and I'll go ahead and execute this MOU under my authority.
Mayor, I do not like to do that. I would prefer not to do that. I would prefer to have discussion on this item.
Okay.
If I need to make a motion, I will, but I know we don't do that before public comment.
Well,
I have discussion I need to make
Okay.
on this.
Okay, okay. Well, okay, I will go, anyone else? I'll go ahead and open up for audience participation. Anyone like to discuss this item? Yes, sir. New shirt, Gary. Looks nice.
You're getting fancy.
I have office, believe it or not.
You are getting fancy.
Only good once in a while. Jim McGill, 342 Burley. If I understand this correctly, this is a federal thing that the state is telling us we have to participate in, and we have to pay for the training.
Unfunded mandate.
Just one of many. That-
There's no cost to the training.
No cost of the training. So I stand corrected.
This is just the people's time. We're paying the people for attending.
Correct.
So we have to pay. Okay. Well, it's, it's another controversial Trumpism, I guess.
Thank you. Anyone else from the audience like to discuss this matter? Seeing none, we'll close audience participation and entertain a motion.
Discussion.
Yeah, I'd
Well,
like
we have to have a motion on the floor before we can discuss it.
If you take no action, I will execute this agreement
That-
without
that's-
commission approval.
Do you understand?
I'll make a motion. I will make
Do
a
you want to ask, do you
motion.
want to ask Mr. Forte some questions that might engage in dialogue?
No,
before
I
you make
do
a
not.
motion? Okay.
I will make a motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I just want to remind everybody that is new that just because you say a second doesn't mean that the discussion or
I'll
the
second it.
item is approved.
Okay, there's a motion and a second on the floor. Any discussion needed?
Yes,
The
sir.
maker of the
Yes.
motion
Yes,
has
sir.
the floor.
Thank you. On February 19th of 2025, Governor DeSantis implemented an immigration and enforcement memorandum of agreement for all county and city elected officials to agree to and support. This agreement is for our sworn officers to be given training and authority to conduct the duties of ICE. Although currently, Florida law requires local law enforcement to cooperate with federal immigration enforcement. Immigration advocacy groups have filed a lawsuit in federal court in Miami challenging the constitutionality of Florida's new immigration law, SB 4-C. U.S. District Judge Kathleen Williams has temporarily blocked its enforcement. The concerns with approving this agreement are the following. Human rights concerns. The agreement might lead to the violation of basic human rights, such as the right to seek asylum. Economic impact. Immigrants contribute significantly to the Florida's economy, particularly in industries such as agriculture, construction, and tourism. This could cause labor shortages or disrupt businesses. The governor is currently working on changing our child labor laws in Florida to supplement the shortages from the immigrants. Family separation. A big concern is the enforcement could lead to family separations as parents might be detained or deported while their children are left behind. Fear and distrust. An increased fear within the immigration communities, which will deter people from reporting crimes, seeking medical care, and even having their kids have a fair education. Legal and ethical issues. Such agreements may violate the U.S. Constitution, such as due process, and it's already challenged in federal courts. One might pose the question, is it ethically wrong to punish people simply for seeking a better life? Impact to our police department. Is the agreement going to cause our agency to be distracted from primary duties? And are we going to be strained for resources? I agree that reformed immigration policies need to be implemented federally to those seeking a better life that offer a more streamlined process, prioritize human dignity and safety over enforcement measures. However, someone is not a criminal for entering the country without immigration status, as that would be a civil infraction and not criminal. The governor and the Florida Attorney General have threatened elected officials who decide to vote against this measure with an investigation, as they believe the action may be a violation of state law. They also are threatening to suspend any local official that votes against this measure. And lastly, the city would risk losing federal and/or state funding. My fellow constituents, this is not the free state of Florida as proclaimed by Governor Ron DeSantis last year. When elected officials face retribution for voting against a measure that could be violating basic human rights, as stated in our U.S. Constitution, I cannot ethically or morally vote to support this measure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Commissioner Snow, floor is yours.
Well, I don't know what I can add, except everybody is looking for somebody's permission to abuse immigrants. Well, if you can get permission from your grandparents, then come talk to me, because we're all immigrants.
Anyone else have any comments?
I just, no, I don't think so. I just don't agree
You don't agree with
with,
which side?
there's illegal immigrants and there's illegal immigrants. Immigrants come here under different situations. Most of the immigrants that came here to this country came here, well, I can't say most of the immigrants that came here to this country. I had something wrote down about this, but I didn't bring it with me. I was hoping I could find it on my phone just now. Because it's such a big controversial thing that's right now, and I agree. I mean, people are just seeking asylum. I mean, South America is in a distraught place. Mexico, all those areas down there, and even overseas. The whole world's in a distraught place. The United States is in a very comfortable position compared to the rest of the world. But you come here in a process. Every single immigrant that has came here, unless they got by somehow, came here with a process. Now, sometimes it's not easy to come here and through due process. That's agreeable. I mean, it is. And in the past 20 years, it's actually gotten harder. Of course, our borders opened up pretty significantly in the last 4 years. So many people came to this country without any due process of it. Some of them were terrible people. I'm not going to go on and rant and rave about how many criminals came across the border or anything like that. I'm sure there's a lot of good people that came across the border, but they didn't come through in due process. They didn't come through legally. And if we have to uphold the law, which what our police officers do, whether it's a federal law, state law, city ordinance, or anything else, then we need to look for that. We need to help that happen. As far as some of the other comments that were made, I mean, some of them are kind of extravagant. So I don't want to get in too much detail. It's just the way I feel about it. I mean, yes, I get it. It's a hard thing to do, but the border should not have been opened to let all this happen the way it did, to where we have to clean this up in a manner that we're doing it. And it's going to get rough. It hasn't even begun yet. And it is going to be sad in some cases. And hopefully, the policemen that are involved with it will take into consideration of the families and the process they have to go through with it. But that's really all I got to say about it.
Mike, I don't disagree with many of the statements that have been made here, on both sides. But I don't believe that's the question before us tonight. This is a question before us where home rule has been violated. It's not our decision to come up with this ordinance, to come up with this law, to come up with this process. The question before us tonight is, are we going to comply with the governor's order? And I fear that there may be retribution if this commission in this city does not comply with the governor's order, that we risk repercussions. And so although I agree with many of the things that have been said here, I will vote in favor of this because I believe we have to comply with the governor's order, much as if RFK were to say tomorrow that fluoride will be taken from our water system. It's not my personal decision, but it's something that we have to comply with. It's just another reason where home rule is so important. We are the local government. We are the closest government to the people. We hear you. We react to you. We shop in the same grocery stores. We go to many of the same churches, and we interact with each other quite often. And these decisions are made at a higher level. And you may not like it, but I think we have to comply with it. So any further discussion? Joe wants to say something.
Yeah, Mayor, I'd like to give you options. I am the grandchild and great-grandchild of immigrants that came through Ellis Island. That may be why I don't like American history so much. I have no connection to it. I can give you an option. You know, the option is to move forward as you suggested with the vote to support me executing this. The other option is to vote either in support or in opposition to the MOU without authorizing me to execute it, and then I'll make the decision to execute it alone. So all you're doing is not...
I don't think that's fair to put that on you.
It's an option.
Well-
I'm just putting an option on the table to provide cover.
There's a third option.
I don't think we need that option, Mr. City Manager. I appreciate it, though. I really do.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to put this all on you, Joe, but I think there's a third option. So either the maker of the motion or the commissioner that seconded the motion could withdraw that, and then there would be no formal action taken by this commission. And then,
Just for the record, out of all due respect, you know I respect you very much, I decline to withdraw my motion.
that puts it on you, Commissioner Snow.
I guess it does.
Can I just have one last comment? Listen, this isn't about disrespecting anybody up here. We all have different beliefs in the way things should happen. We all have different outlooks. I am not trying to disrespect anyone up here. Just let me lay that down because I do respect each of you. And I understand that it's a mandate from the governor. First of all, I don't think it's fair to mandate that an elected official elected by the citizens where they live can tell me how to vote. That's taking my citizens' power away. And I just have to stand for what is believed to be the right thing. And I prefer that we take a vote on this.
And we already gave you that opportunity.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'll speak for myself, Commissioner Gray. I don't feel disrespected. I don't think anyone.
I just want to
I don't
make
think
that
anyone
clear.
feels disrespected. I agree with your passion.
Hey, at least I don't sound angry, passionate tonight.
I'll give you that. I don't disagree with your passion. I don't disagree with your position. I just don't feel that this city has any option. And I applaud you for voicing your concern, but many things come down from Tallahassee that we have to accept. If Tallahassee decides to do away with CRAs tomorrow, then CRAs are done with. And so that's another local decision that, that we just can't make. So I'm
And
not
I
try-
agree.
I'm not trying to change your mind on anything, and
No.
I appreciate your passion.
This, to me, this is a human rights issue, so that's where I stand. Thank you.
Any further discussion needed? Yes, sir.
You know, we're elected here to do what's best for the city, and sometimes we just have to leave our personal feelings out of it. What is best for the city of Holly Hill is what I usually always vote for.
I think I'm in a hard decision place, and there's two things that affect me. Number one, I don't know what my constituents think, because this is a first reading, first time we've talked about it. So I don't really know how to vote for the benefit of the citizens who elected me. I cannot vote on my feelings alone, and I cannot seem to find a way to vote because there's evidence or a law that's not right here. So I am going to maintain my motion.
Okay. Any further discussion needed before we call for a vote?
No.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed?
Now,
Aye, nay.
The motion passes 3-2.
I said aye to those that oppose. I was supposed to say nay, I'm sorry.
That's fine. I should have said same sign. Then you would have been right. It doesn't matter. All right, so now we will move on to item 6, which is our regular agenda. This is Resolution 2025-R-31.
Resolution number 2025-R-31 by title only for first and only reading. A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Holly Hill, Florida, authorizing a piggyback contract for the purchase of an advanced water meter infrastructure AMI system using the City of Pinellas Parks contract awarded under RFP number 24.001, providing for implementing administrative actions, providing for conflicts, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Got anything to add, Joe?
You know, we had budgeted for these meter replacements. These will be cellular meter reads. Right now, this has gone through an evolution over the years where we used to go by and manually read the meters, and then we went to the touch wand meters, and then we went to drive around meters, and now we're on gateways. There are 5 gateways in the city that read the meters throughout the entire city. Well, 3 of those are not functioning and haven't been for some time, and that's causing a lot of additional workload on some of the staff. So we always plan to go to the cellular meters. Some of the meters have already been converted through attrition, and we've been slowly getting there, and this is going to get everybody there at the same time. So it's an efficiency that will save some money on the maintenance cost, but there's a large upfront cost to get this done. In addition to that, there's also a budget amendment request associated with this agenda item for the installation cost, which is an additional $119,431.24. So the total, I gotta find my total. The total for the project is $1,094,431.24. That's for the material and the installation. And we think that we should be able to get this done before the end of the fiscal year.
Any questions for Joe or staff at this time? Open up for audience participation. Anyone in the audience like to comment on this item? Seeing none, we'll close audience participation and entertain a motion.
Second.
Any discussion needed?
No.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries unanimously. Now we move to item 7, which is public hearings, which is ordinance 2025-0-3084.
Ordinance number 2025-0-3084 by title only for first reading. An ordinance of the City of Holly Hill, Florida, adopting the amended Holly Hill Community Redevelopment Plan, providing for a 10-year extension of the City of Holly Hill Community Redevelopment Agency's operational timeframe, providing for a 10-year extension of the City of Holly Hills Community Redevelopment Area Redevelopment Trust Fund, providing for the county TIF contribution rates for the Holly Hill Redevelopment Trust Fund, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the Holly Hill Code, and providing for an effective date.
Is Amy coming up?
I'm going to turn it over to Brian. Brian will probably have Amy come up and do a brief presentation. She is doing it, but somebody's got to introduce it.
So the commissioners, we have a community redevelopment plan in place that has a very specific goal. And the goal of the redevelopment plan is to show how we're going to carry out initiatives and goals and policies that are designed to take away things such as blight within an area that's been designated as our CRA, increase investment in that area, and increase the ability of business owners to be able to talk and communicate and come up with ideas and share information that's all designed to generate business and make the area profitable, and at the same time enhance the value of the area and the aesthetics of the area. So currently the plan that we have is one that is set to expire in December of 2026. When we say December of 2026, we have let the county know that that is our interpretation of when it ends, and at this point, they have not disputed that. So we're looking to get that plan extended, and part of that process is to make sure that the plan is in harmony with the comprehensive plan of the city. So really, that's why we're here this evening, is for you to make a decision that the plan is in harmony, the proposed community redevelopment plan is in harmony with the comprehensive plan. So maybe to make that a little bit easier, I have a couple of examples. If in looking at the plan, on page 14, it talks specifically about the objectives and initiatives. This is section 3 of the plan. And in there, on page 18 and 19 and 20, it highlights 3 very specific areas within the plan that would be initiated to bring about the goals of the plan. So we have attracting investments, we have keepers of the vision, we have quality of life, and we have infrastructure enhancements. Well, moving to page 48 of the plan shows very specific policies within our comprehensive plan that tie back to those initiatives. So just one example, flu policy 513. The city shall continue economic investment activities that provide financial incentives for business expansion and development that creates livable wage jobs for its residents. That comes from the comprehensive plan. So what does that tie to? That ties to, on page 18 of the CRA plan, the keepers of the vision. So what we've done are trying to show a direct connection between the goals in the plan and the policies within the comprehensive plan. So that's really the purpose of this discussion, is to show that there is that connection, for you to feel confident that there is that connection, and therefore, based on that, you're able to recommend approval of it, but ultimately, it will move forward to a point where the county will make a decision as to whether or not they will approve a 10-year extension.
Thank you. Any questions for
Thank
Brian
you.
at this time? You didn't do Amy's whole presentation, did you?
All I said was Brian was going to come up and introduce Amy. That's all I said.
He took your thunder.
In all fairness, that is what he said. I'm sorry, Joe. Sorry. Amy said it to you.
I'm glad he's excited about it, so that's good. Amy Singatia, Economic Development Manager. As Brian kind of stated, the process we've been going through at the March 25th meeting, it was before you as the CRA board, you kind of initiated the process. Last night at the Planning and Appeals Board, they recommended approval based on its compliance. They found it in compliance with the comp plan, and now it's before you in the first reading, and then we'll have our second reading. And currently at the same time, after the CRA's board's approval, it's been sent over to county for staff's comments and process to move forward and begin that process. So we'll eventually get on a county council agenda for final approval. As far as it outlines the guiding plan for us moving forward, we want to continue. We want to, with this process, with this plan, where the money that's generated within the CRA from the county is staying here in our community. And that's very important that we get to have that money and be able to reinvest in our communities. Otherwise, say that money could go to another community. So that's the importance of this plan is we get to invest in our community, continue to eliminate blight, improve infrastructure, and encourage economic development as we continue to revitalize the CRA area. And we've already done so many great things, and we want to continue to expand. The projects are outlined in the book: roadway improvements, LBGA improvements, park improvements. There's several different opportunities for the city to do.
Thank you. Any questions for Amy at this time? Thank you, ma'am. Anyone from the audience like to discuss this matter? Yes, sir.
Jim Legary, 342 Burley. I just want to take this opportunity to say to y'all what I have said at a couple of the meetings. I here, and I think for 20 years, we have discussed the motels on Ridgewood. We have discussed the junkyard. I would like to see some kind of internal thing where we attempt to make a plan to seed getting rid of those. I think perhaps a plan that it would involve the owners of the current motels. I have a tremendous amount of admiration for anybody that can make a living to sustain those hellholes. And I think if we could involve them in some cooperative thing, it would be marvelous. I know that's not what's in front of the county, but I want to take this opportunity to say it for the 50th time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the audience like to discuss this issue? Seeing none, we'll close public participation. Jim, there are a few successes with some of the flea bag motels going away. You know where my office is. It's a success story. It was a crack motel. At the south end of town, PSP Construction is renovating actually two of the motels at the south end of town. There was an attempt to do the Happy Times. I think they've run out of money and initiative. But if you go on Google Earth and type in Ridgewood, any address on Ridgewood, and you can fly down the street and you can go back in time and look at the improvements that have come. It's coming. It's not as fast as any of us want it. But it is changing. But we hear you. I think that what made our community great in the 50s were those motels. What makes our city bad in the 2025s are those motels. So I don't think anyone disagrees with you. So I'll shut up and entertain a motion. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion for approval.
Second it.
Any further discussion? needed amongst the commission? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries unanimously. Now we get to the most exciting thing on the agenda, which is ordinance 2025-0-3085. Are we going to do both these together, Scott, like we have in the past?
Well, mine are 3086 and 3087.
I got 3085 and 3086.
That's what I have.
Me too.
Are you looking at the ordinances themselves or the
Yeah.
agenda?
I'm looking at the agenda.
Let me see, hold on. Maybe I skipped further down.
Right, that's what I just read.
That's what he just called.
Oh, okay, never mind.
You have 3085 is one, and then you have a rezoning and a comp plan, that's 86 and 87.
Right.
So you have,
I mean, they all deal with the same thing.
so there's three ordinances
Right.
total.
What we'll do is we'll do the annexation ordinance first by itself, then we'll do the next two together like we've done in the past. Ordinance number 2025-0-3085 by title only for first reading. An ordinance of the City of Holly Hill, Volusia County, Florida, annexing by voluntary petition approximately 1.028 acres identified as parcel number 4242-04-21-0140, contiguous to the City of Holly Hill, redefining boundaries of the City of Holly Hill to include said property and the adjacent right-of-way of Nova Road, directing the city clerk to file the ordinance with the clerk of the circuit court, with the chief administrative officer of Volusia County, and with the Department of State, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Brian?
Mayor, Commission. So this is, as stated, a request to annex approximately 1.028 acres on the west side of Nova Road. It's about 475 feet south of Gulf Avenue, and more specifically known as 1152 South Nova Road. The parcel does have a structure on it. It has a building that's approximately 1,796 square feet that's currently used for trailer sales. The applicant has submitted a petition for annexation and proposes to sell RVs at the site. Florida Statute Section 171.044 presents the requirements for voluntary annexation. There are different types of annexation. This is a voluntary annexation wherein the applicant has come to the city. And the subject property is contiguous to the current city limits on two sides, and the annexation will result in a city limit that's reasonably compact. So that basically meets the statutory requirements for voluntary annexation. This request is a companion of a request for a comprehensive plan amendment and rezone. The proposed comprehensive plan amendment will request general commercial, which is consistent with the abutting land uses of the property as well as those of other land uses along Nova Road. And the proposed zoning will be CC1, or commercial corridor. That's also consistent with the zoning of the abutting properties. As far as financial impacts are expected, the only financial impact will be a minor increase in taxable value to the city. And based on this, staff recommends the City Commission annex 1.028 acres on the west side of Nova Road, approximately 475 feet south of Gulf Avenue, and more specifically known as 1152 South Nova Road. Thank you.
Any questions for Brian at this time?
No.
Thank you, Brian.
I just have one more comment. Since that place is right directly across the street from a property you know well.
Yeah.
It is, I looked at it real close, and it is pretty class act. The building is very nice. The RVs they have on it is very nice, and I think it's a very great thing that we're going to annex it into this area. They'll be my across the road neighbors.
Thanks, sir. Thanks, Brian. And I know the applicant's here. Do you want to add anything, Mr. Kennedy? Thank you. Anyone from the audience like to comment on this item? Seeing none, we'll close audience participation and entertain a motion.
Second.
Any discussion needed?
No.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries unanimously. Now we'll go to the double ordinance. 2025-0-3086 and 87.
Ordinance number 2025-0-3086 by title only for first reading, and ordinance number 2025-0-3087 by first reading by title only. Ordinance number 3086, an ordinance of the City of Holly Hill, Florida, amending the comprehensive plan by amending the future land use map designation of certain property identified as 1152 South Nova Road, 4242-04-21-0140, by virtue of a small-scale future land use map amendment, changing the future land use map designation from MXZ, mixed-use zoning, Volusia County, to general commercial Holly Hill, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date. Ordinance number 30-87, and by title only for first reading. An ordinance of the City of Holly Hill, Florida, amending the land development regulations by amending the official zoning map to designate the property described in Exhibit A from I-3 Light Industrial, Volusia County, to CC1 Commercial Corridor District, Holly Hill, providing for conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Thank you, sir. Brian?
Yes. So the applicant has petitioned for the parcel in question, 1152 South Nova Road, to be annexed into the City of Holly Hill. And once it is annexed into the City of Holly Hill, then the next step is that the property needs to receive city zoning and also needs to be in the City of Holly Hill's comprehensive plan. So the applicant is requesting a small-scale future land use map amendment from Volusia County's future land use designation, which is MXZ, or mixed use zone, to general commercial, which is our Holly Hill zone, and a rezone from I-3 light industrial Volusia County to CC1 commercial corridor Holly Hill. There is project information included in your staff report. Talks about the size of the property, the general location, frontage, existing development, zoning, and things of that nature. I won't go into all of that unless you would like me to. With regard to the zoning and land uses, there is a sheet labeled in your staff report, zoning and land use table, and that shows you what zoning and land uses surround this particular parcel. And then with regard to the project analysis, in addition to the criteria that's established in the comprehensive plan, the amendment has to be analyzed in terms of its infrastructure impacts. So for considering a change in land use, an analysis comparing the maximum development potential under each land use and available capacity is required. So there's a lot of numbers in there. I won't go over everything in detail unless you'd like me to. I will say that if we were to develop the property now under its maximum square footage allowed under the Volusia County comprehensive plan or land use, it would be 16,800 square feet. Once it goes to general commercial, the maximum allowed amount of square footage allowed will be 87,360 square feet, so a definite increase. So one of the things we do is we say, okay, with this increase, how much more water does that represent? How much more sewer does that represent? How much more traffic does that represent? So those are the things that we compare. I will just say that it does represent an increase of 4,590 gallons of water per day. The same with sewage. So when we look at that with regard to water, what's the capacity of our water plant? The water plant has a processing capacity of 2.3 million gallons a day, which is sufficient capacity to accommodate the density increase permitted under the proposed future land use. Currently, our daily maximum flows are somewhere about 1.3 million gallons. With regard to the sewer wastewater treatment plant, it has a capacity of 3 million gallons per day. Currently, it's serving approximately 1.85 million gallons per day. So we are able to handle the increase. With regard to traffic, right now, that section of Nova Road basically from LPGA to Hand, which this property is in that stretch. The volume to capacity ratio is 0.47. And basically what that is, it's an indication of how well traffic is flowing. Anything below 1 means that it's doing a good job at handling traffic. Anything over 1 means now the road is starting to have problems. It also operates at a level of service of C. The allowable level of service is D. So there is room there for a lot of growth along that section of Nova Road. So there won't be any negative impacts to traffic or any reduced levels of service when it comes to this potential increase of traffic that might be put on the road. Stormwater management, solid waste, there are no issues there. With regard to the consistency with the urban sprawl rule, within Florida statutes in section 163.311, 6A9B, it does provide that plan amendments be determined to discourage the proliferation of urban sprawl. So this amendment does not meet any of the key urban sprawl indicators. So it generally promotes efficiency with regard to urban services. So it is compliant with state statute in that regard. With regard to consistency with the comprehensive plan, I did list several policies there and showed how this particular project is consistent with the policies of the comprehensive plan. It's in your staff report, so I won't go through all of the items. Staff does find that the requested small-scale land use amendment is consistent with the city's comprehensive plan. The city has available capacity to serve the increased demand on facilities and infrastructure created by the requested amendment. Additionally, the amendment does not encourage the proliferation of sprawl. So that primarily addresses your comp plan aspect. Then we look at the appropriateness of the zoning category. And in making a determination as to the appropriateness of the rezone and amendment, the commission's required to review the 8 points of consideration that are outlined in section 82-372. That's attached in your staff report as Exhibit C. Staff has reviewed the 8 points, and I did not find within any of them a reason to withhold a recommendation of approval. And with regard to the specific rezone request, again, the predominant zoning category applied along both sides of Nova Road in the section between Alabama Avenue and Gulf Avenue is CC1. The existing business and properties that abut the parcels under review are zone CC1. And according to policy 1.1.3 of the future land use element, the CC1 zoning designation is consistent with the general commercial land use classification. So based on this, the staff does recommend adoption of 2 ordinances. One, a proposed ordinance enacting a small-scale land use amendment from MXZ mixed-use zone Volusia County to general commercial Holly Hill for approximately 1.028 acres located on the west side of Nova Road, approximately 475 feet south of Gulf Avenue, and more specifically known as 1152 South Nova Road. And then a second ordinance with regard to the rezone, adopt the proposed ordinance enacting a rezone from I-3 light industrial, Volusia County, to CC1 commercial corridor Holly Hill for approximately 1.028 acres located on the west side of Nova Road, approximately 475 feet south of Gulf Avenue, and more specifically known as 1152 South Nova Road. And that concludes that presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for Brian at this time?
Thank you. No,
That won't change what he's got right now then. He won't be restricted to anything that he's doing right now.
No. No, in fact, that's part of the reason why he's
Sure.
coming in the county to
Yeah.
let him.
Yeah. I was just curious.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Brian. You want to add anything, Bobby? Anyone from the audience like to discuss this issue? Seeing none, we'll close audience participation and entertain a motion.
Just as we've normally done in the past, we should vote on these ordinances separately. So the first motion would be for ordinance 30-86. If that passes, then you can go on to ordinance 30-87.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion?
No.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries unanimously. Now, 3087.
Second it.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries unanimously. Welcome to the city of Holly Hill.
Yes.
Yes, welcome.
It'll be official in 2 weeks. Communications from the city manager. Have anything to add for us tonight, Joe?
I have nothing tonight, thanks.
City attorney?
No.
Okay, so, it's April already. It's crazy, but there's a lot of things going on in the next month. We had a very successful concert on March 28th, Rocky and the Rollers. Don't know how many of you I saw there, but if I didn't see you, shame on you. Very successful concert, over 500 people in attendance. So Amy is doing a great job of getting the people there. This Friday from 9 to 2, there's a blood drive in front of City Hall. If you want to eat breakfast and hydrate and come out and donate some blood, 9 to 2. This Saturday is one of Val's big events, the Easter egg hunt on City Hall from 10 to noon. And I said 10 to noon because if you're here at 10:01, your child or your grandchild or your niece or nephew are going to be crying because it will be over. Because it will be over.
They moved that quickly.
It will be over. April 22nd, we have a ribbon cutting at our new virtual golf facility from 4 to 5, directly across the street from Mr. Kennedy's property. I think you might know where that is, Roy. April 25th is another concert from 7 to 9. It's a Beatlemania, so if you like the Beatles, from 7 to 9, come out. Remember, it's free. There's no charge to park. There's no charge for admission. We just ask you to go online and register so you know how many people are coming. And if you forget to register online, if you walk up and are real nice to Amy, she'll let you in anyways. April 30th is our Holly Hill Community Block Party. It's not your typical block party, it's to bring awareness to child abuse prevention. So we had a couple heavy items. We started the meeting with a heavy item, going to end the meeting with a heavy item, but it's important. So come on out, meet your neighbors. There'll be all kinds of services there for children, and come out and meet your neighbors. So that's all I have for this evening. We'll start with Mr. Johnson.
You forgot one,
What'd I forget?
April item, 15th.
Oh, well, I think it's actually extended. You can pay after the 15th this year because of the hurricane last year. Yeah, you don't have to pay till May 1st.
I put mine in the mail yesterday.
Thing negative about the IRS because they're the greatest. I'll pay them fine if I don't want to pay them.
I don't want to pay them at all.
I appreciate ever going to the meeting for me here for it was the end of the last meeting of
March.
the 4th Tuesday of last month. She went to the TPO meeting for me, and I appreciate representing because I couldn't make it. I was in a confined area. And, appreciate that, and I appreciate if everyone could actually come to the grand opening of the indoor golf center at Volusia Sports Center because it is amazing. Back in the day, it was a paint booth for big trucks and big trailers and things, and my daughter converted it into a indoor golf facility, and it's just unreal how different it is, And there's so many things back when you was a teenager, you remember so many things of that area where you worked up there sometimes. What a change, right? I appreciate it, and just keep in mind that we still have to increase our roads to compensate for so many businesses and apartments and populations. I hear all the time there's still 1,000 people a day moving to Florida, so we have to increase our roads. And I appreciate everyone coming and speaking and what we can do for you, will do for you. Thanks. And I'm done.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Snow.
Me, it was a pleasure to fill in for you at the DPO. Thanks for trusting me to do that. I'd like to go back to the resolution we passed tonight and ask of Joe. I want to be able to talk to the people in my neighborhood and in my district about the ICE mandate. And I'd like to know things like what will the impact be on our police department, our resources, even if it's not financial, what the impact is going to be for the people who are covering for the others. I'd like to know what the benefit is for us. I'd like to know, do we have an immigration problem in Holly Hill? I haven't been here long enough to know whether that's something we need to deal with the whole community, or is this just a formality to get somebody trained? I just would really like more information about how it's going to impact us and how it's going to benefit us.
It would probably be best that you meet with the chief.
Okay.
The chief probably has or can get those answers for you much quicker than I can.
Chief, don't get too excited now. I think he runs when he sees me coming. Thank you, Joe.
Sure.
Anything else?
No, that knew it.
Commissioner Curry.
Thank you. Again, Mr. Forte, I would like to thank you and your staff, code enforcement, police department, for working so diligently on 700 Grove. I've heard lots of times, like I know you have from residents on that street. I just want us to make sure that we maintain what we're doing now. That we do periodic drive-bys, whatever it takes to make sure we don't get back to this place. Because there's been a lot of hard work, and I would just like us to stay on top of that. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Delanoy.
No, I'm good for tonight. A lot of discussion tonight. About the road situation that Roy was talking about how we're growing. I wish I could remember Bill. I think it was Bill Whitman, Daytona Avenue. Am I saying that right?
I'm not sure.
Okay, I'm sorry. But he called me again. He said about the deal over here at LPGA in Daytona. He says that he's had 2 experiences where he's had somebody running the stop sign. And he called me again today. And anyway, I brought it up last week about having some sort of speed control. And by the way, they did put a sign down there on my street, the safety, drive safely. Why?
It's the trailer.
Huh?
Put the trailer out there.
Yeah, that was good.
Trying to catch people.
It helped. I really feel like it helped. I mean, because it's a throughway there. It's like Flomish Avenue, but it has a stop sign. Well, Flomish does too. But anyway, it does seem to help. I don't want to go on too much, but yeah, I think that more and more we get more and more people coming into the city. People are in a hurry, whatever, cutting through the streets. Need to start thinking about some kind of control before something does terribly happen. You know, if a child gets hit, or even an adult, or somebody, safety, just some better safety on the streets. A lot of the cut through. What I see. I mean, it's been that way since I've moved there anyway. Like I've said before, I've had a few accidents right there in my corner. But other than that, good week, I guess. Good month for me so far.
Good.
Hope everybody else is having a good, better, at least we got a little bit of cool weather coming back again, maybe for a week or so. Not looking forward to the 90-degree days,
It's coming.
but thank you.
Thank you. Just, I had my undiagnosed ADHD, I forgot to mention a couple things. Just like to thank Commissioner Snow for showing up at the fundraiser for the Early Learning Coalition this past Saturday, and taking the opportunity to throw softballs at a target and dunk me in the water.
So cool.
I didn't realize I had volunteered to be dunked until it was last Thursday, and I'm not sure if it was Malia or Amy, but someone posted it on Facebook and got a lot of people out there to throw softballs at me.
You're always such a team player.
So that was great. And I don't know if you noticed, but the playground that is at Sunrise Park, there were some parts on back order, and that project was supposed to take about 2 weeks. And now we're almost 2 months into it. And there was an issue with the safety gate around it. The kids were looking at it and jumping over it. So Joe instructed staff to make sure and open it up, but make sure that everything is secured. There's still some parts on back order. If you get comments from citizens that aren't happy that there's no sunshade and there's a pile of dirt over there, we know it. We can't get the sunshades up because they're on back order. But the thought was to go ahead and open it up and let the kids go play on it. I was there at 10:30 this morning, and there was no less than 25 kids on that playground. It's amazing. If you haven't been there, go walk on that. You know, when we were kids, you just fell in the dirt. Now they got this foam stuff that you fall on, and it's really nice. But there's sunshades coming. There is some construction debris, but it's safely away from the playground. But just in case you get comments from citizens, it's open. It's not complete, but we are aware that there's still some dust and dirt around there. So, anyone else have anything else for the good of the order? Seeing nothing, we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting.